the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With the rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 1
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Frank Pierce. And we would like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Sunday night, and you know what that means. It is showtime on Troubled Minds Radio. And here we are, doing it again, talking about all the things we're not supposed to talk about, which is, of course, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the 24-hour news cycle, the mainstream media, the technocracy, you know, all those guys. All the things that you're not supposed to hear are the things that we talk about. As long as it's still legal in this country, we're still talking about it. And that's the way this thing goes. So, all right, if that's what we're going to do, and we'll do shout-outs in a little bit. We're going to introduce Frank, and we kind of got a slew of topics tonight. We're all over the place a little bit, which sometimes turns out to be a better show, I think, because, well, I've got a very short-term, what do you call that? A short, what is that? What do they say about the millennials there, Frank? They got a short attention span. That's what it is, right? That's what I've got. Okay, anyway, so to call out Frank like that, I'm going to just call him out like that. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, your co-host, Frank Pierce.
Hello, my name is Frank Pierce, and we are back again for another exciting show. Plenty of topics to talk about today, as we mentioned already. If you have any topics you'd like us to cover on the show, any new insights, any secret documents, not the FBI ones though, we want to get in trouble, join the Discord. You can go to our website, click that link up in the top right corner, I believe, and you can post a story in here and we'll pull it up and talk about it. It's always fun to get stuff from the audience. You know, we can't cover everything. We try to read as much as we can. We try to look into as much stuff as we can, but it's difficult sometimes. The world is a big and wide and crazy place, and the news cycle just keeps on coming. Got UFOs, got Bigfoot. Oh, so many different topics, but we'll get to them tonight. We'll look at them. Yeah, that's it. So let's get into it. Let's get right into it.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so we've got, we're going to go to the alternate here. We got TBJ01 gets first on YouTube. What's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. We get Tinfoil Timothy on on YouTube and kicked off Facebook again. He says, "Stop saying the Z word." I'm telling you. And we got Tony. What's up? First on Facebook, and we got Sam. Thanks for being here. We've got new. What is this? New bling. It says anniversary follower on these guys. So again, one more time, if you guys are interested in the tags you get on Facebook for being followers or top fans or whatever this is, it's all 100% algorithmic. I've never one time tweaked or touched anything. So whatever shows up is whatever shows up, and I'm as surprised as you guys are. So there we go. We have anniversary followers happening today. I don't know what that means. Happy anniversary, Frank. Okay, so we got after Sam, we got Fred, we got what's up, Mani, how you doing, buddy? We got John from Odessa, Texas. We got Sam from Jacksonville, Florida. We got Stephanie. Hey, thanks for being here. We got John from Louisville. We got Larry. We got Robert from Hagerstown, Maryland. We got Tai. Bonjour. Hey, my French is terrible. We got Eric from Pittsburgh. Thomas, you're not supposed to know that the NWO and New World Order was started by a legal treaty. Yeah, Colin, tell us about that. Chad, what's up? What's happening, buddy? And more anniversary followers. We got Kurt. We got Dave. We got Shane from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. He says you guys are great. Hey, thanks. You're great. Appreciate that. We got Kurt from Okay, holy crap. Wapakoneta, Ohio, birthplace of Neil Armstrong. I know I said that wrong. Colin, tell us. What's up, Coriana? Thanks for being here. I hate that I have to work early. I'm going to have to watch the show tomorrow. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Chad, howdy from the Catskills. And Gerardo, what's happening, buddy? Ted from Las Cruces, New Mexico. We got Luke from South Carolina, and I think that catches us up. We got Cedric on YouTube as well. I see you over there. So, okay, let's, yeah, there we are. Here we are. How is the volume, everybody? We've had serious technical issues, so please let us know if the volume sucks. I'm trying to mix it as we go, but hey, here's what we're doing and here's what we're going. So what's first, Frank?
Yeah, as usual, the volume's an issue, and that's important for this next thing. Let's start this with a case study, okay? And we'll get into what that case study is, but let's do a little experiment here. Open up this Netflix as a joke. Aziz Ansari clears up the pizza swastika story. Now, what does this have to do with conspiracies? Well, we'll take a look in a minute. Let's play this. I think if you show the video, we may be taken down, so maybe just play the audio. But stop it at precisely 1 minute so we can talk about it halfway through.
Okay, precisely 1 minute. Here we go. So this is intentionally audio, and let's see. If this sucks, I'll start it over and remix it here. All right, so, action. This is the pizza swastika story.
You know, you have a big corporation. Even one employee does something, the whole company's under fire, right? You know, you saw this with this whole Pizza Hut thing, right? Guy orders a pepperoni pizza. He gets the pizza. The pepperonis are arranged to look like a swastika. But now some people online are saying it doesn't look like a swastika. They're saying it looks like a regular pizza. So the internet is split. I saw it. Kind of looked like a regular pizza to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Clap if you think it's a swastika. Clap if you think it looks like a swastika. Okay, a couple people in the back. Now clap if you think it just looks like a regular pizza. Yeah. So, you sir right here, you think it looks like a regular pizza? Yeah? And what do you think? This guy's just lying to get attention or something like that? Yeah. And do you remember where you saw it? Because it was in New York Times and Washington Post, but Washington Post supposedly accidentally posted a digitally altered photo. Do you remember where you saw it?
All right, precisely 1 minute. We pause. How's the volume on that, everybody? Let's give us feedback on the volume. How's that sound? Were you able to hear that? The swastika pizza. So he alludes that the Washington Post posted a digitally altered version of the pizza. Whoa.
Yeah, that's what he said. Now, did you see this when this story came out? Did you see this pizza, and what did you think about it?
I didn't actually see the photograph. This story is new to me. It's so hard for me to keep up with all the racist stories. I mean, I have like this huge catalog, and I go through and check every day. You just can't get them all. I'm telling you, they're the next boogeyman of the world is the racists, and here we go. The swastika pizzas. I believe it though. I totally believe it.
Yeah. So when I saw this, I believed it too, and I actually went and looked for the photo because I hadn't seen the story either. Now, those are both very good answers. Let's play the rest of this clip.
Okay. Copy that, Tamron. Thanks for being here. I'll see if I can fix the background fuzz. That's fixable. All right, here we go. So he said that they digitally altered the photograph of the pizza. Here we go. Action.
You saw Washington Post? Okay. Well, you know what's interesting is I just made all that up. None of it happened. I'm not trying to embarrass you, dude, but you and everyone that clapped earlier, you're the fucking problem, okay? What are you doing?
Okay, that's pretty good. That was pretty good.
Isn't that interesting? Now, of course, they're out in public. They're at a comedy show, so I can give them a little bit of leeway. They want to participate. The big celebrity on stage is asking them a question, so they want to respond. They want to be part of the show, be a part of the program, right? But how many people do you know, and I know quite a few people, who would say, yeah, I saw that story. It definitely did look like a swastika. No, that thing looked nothing like a swastika. It's interesting, isn't it, that people just make shit up. What is truth and what is believable? And that's what we're thinking about today. What is truth and what is believable? It's insane. All those people clapping in the audience, hundreds. All those people kind of booing or naysaying in the audience, it's probably a few of them too. People will just eat anything up, and they will accept things, even if they're not true, even if there's no basis in reality for them whatsoever. I found that an incredibly insightful little bit of commentary there, because I know so many people that would have been fooled by that and would have stood up and said, yeah, that's racist, or the other way around. What do you think about that?
I was right. I knew it. I did, I really, really try and follow the news very closely. So most of the racist stuff I catch. So if there was a swastika pizza, I probably would have seen the photo. Just because, right, it goes viral and it's on Reddit and all these other stupid places. But yeah, all right, I didn't see it because it doesn't exist. Yeah, baby. Okay, but otherwise you're right. So it's like what is that? It's that elevator thing. Remember, you posted that video of the guy in the elevator, right? And everybody was facing the wrong way in the elevator, and he also did. Right? It was the same sort of thing. It's like that herd mentality. If you tell everybody this story and you're emphatic about it and you say, hey, this absolutely happened, right? Like, people don't doubt you. Like they think that everything is taken at face value when everybody's lying. It's absurd. Yeah, this is good stuff, Frank. That's a good one. Definitely busted. How's the background
And you can
noise?
see how,
Go ahead.
pardon me, you can see how this would apply to everything around you. A picture of someone puts a show on television, let's say the History Channel about UFOs, massages the details a little bit, and all of them will believe what that person's saying because they're saying it with an authoritative stance. Same thing, government, politicians, everything. You could just go out there nowadays and say whatever you want, and I don't know what we've lost in society, but no one will question you. I didn't say, no, there's no pizza swastika. I assumed there was one out there somewhere, and I went to look for the image. But every single thing around you, all those people in the audience, they're the people voting on the issues at home. They're the people that you work beside. These people just take everything for granted. They don't think. That's what we've lost. We don't think anymore. And I think he really pulled it out there, and that was a great clip, because really think of the implications of this. Everything around you could be fake, and so long as the pretty man or a handsome woman on television tells you it's true, you're going to eat it up. You're going to believe it. This is, of all the things I've seen in the last year, this is chilling to me, that they just clapped. They went along like the sheep they are.
Hey, man. Hey, easy, buddy. No, yeah. Well, this is what do they call this? This is the post-truth era, right? Is that the term for this? I think that's what we're talking about here, and what this looks like, and what it kind of pretends to the future. Is that part of the problem is that, in my opinion, the 24-hour news cycle is just dumping so much stupid information, right? And so really, okay, so let's say this actually did happen. It was some knucklehead employee made a swastika on a pizza, right? Like, let's say it was your favorite pizza joint, right? I'm not going to name a brand because we don't want to, run off any potential sponsors because I love my pizza. But you see what I'm saying? Like, pick your favorite pizza brand. It happened, big deal. It was some knuckleheaded employee, right? So why really? Because even if it did go viral, why does it make that big of a deal? It was some stupid employee. Every company in the world has some stupid employee that does stupid things on a daily basis, right? But how should that reflect on the entire company at large? It's silly. It's stupid. The entire thing is, But I think I might do that. I'm gonna call and see if somebody will make me a pizza with swastika. Oh boy, I won't eat it though.
Sure they would. I'd eat it. Who cares? It's a pizza. And yeah. Anyway, I found that interesting. And this also brings up the nature of believability. When you see a clip of a UFO, or when you see an expert on television. Well, the clip of the UFO, it looks fake. It could be CGI. It could be non-real. Someone could have made that up. So you don't believe it. But then you look at this guy on television. He's got a suit on, nice haircut, telling you about the economy, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll believe that. I'll buy that. The UFO clip could be real. The guy on television talking about the economy could be lying through his teeth. And we really have no idea. So it is the post-truth era. I think you're right about that. How can we really trust anything we hear? How can we really trust anything we see? You can manipulate things. You can make CGI and fake photos. It's almost impossible nowadays. And what with this rise of deepfakes, which we covered a few episodes back, I think it'll be impossible truth about anything. Oh, about 10 years from now.
And not only that, so this is a little bit of a tangent, but I did see recently that there's documents that have come to light that Monsanto tried to what was it? They tried to make an actual factual something like report. I don't know. It was just I skimmed it, but anyway, so it's the same sort of thing, right? So you don't know where this information's coming from. 1, 2, you don't know what money's behind it. You don't know who's being paid to say, being paid, the actor being paid to like actually say it, or if they were actually this, they didn't know and they were handed a script, and the money's behind the script, and like who the hell knows? Like, and there's so many layers of these things because there's spokespeople and there's like the corporates and there's the writers and everybody's getting paid, right? And that's the thing. If they're getting paid, they're gonna write it. They don't give a damn if they're getting paid. They're gonna say it. Just look at Bill Nye, right? Like Bill Nye the Science Guy, our favorite clown. Like whatever you tell this guy to say, if you pay him, he's saying it. Like he doesn't know a damn thing about anything other than where to find the ATM machine, right? Like that's it. And which direction to face in the camera to read his lines. That's it. That's the only thing this man knows. But however, he's lauded as some kind of what would you call him? Is he a demagogue? Is he a knucklehead? Is he just somebody that we should not pay attention to? I don't know. He's a lot of things, but yeah. Anyway, did you see that Monsanto thing? So you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't see that. No, okay. I didn't see the Monsanto thing. It wouldn't surprise me at all. They got to do those things. But again, someone's told you that on television. You didn't know the people involved. You didn't know. You haven't seen the documents for yourself. You haven't seen the firsthand effects of what they were doing. How can you know? How can you know for sure? It's really, this stunned me when I saw that, because the implications that people out there are just willing to accept everything they hear, everything they see, is so long as it comes from the man upstairs. It's right.
And that the man upstairs would be the Wizard of Oz, right? Am I right? That's the Wizard of Oz. It's got to be. That's the man upstairs, or behind the curtain anyway. Okay, so yeah, there you go. There you go. Has anybody had a pizza with a swastika? I want to know. Okay, so post-truth. Here we are in the post-truth era. So what is true? I guess we're leading down a path of some things we're gonna guess is true or not. Are we gonna play that game, Frank?
Yeah, we could play that. Let's open up this from one of my favorite YouTube channels, Peter Kane Dog Training. This is the man whose father killed a Bigfoot. He shot a Bigfoot, threw it in the freezer, and this guy, his son, has kept it for years, and he doles out pieces of it, like the foot we saw on a show way back when. I think we saw an arm one time too, but this guy doles out pieces of it from time to time and shows the audience. So open up the frozen Bigfoot head DNA clip. Let's play a little bit of that. He's showing this Bigfoot head. And as we're watching this, again, think about that clip that we played at the very start. This looks unreal. It looks crazy. How could we ever know if it's true or not? And you'd think that means we have to disbelieve everything. I don't know. I think that just means we have to change the way we think. We have to look at different things, like this guy who we're about to see who has this crazy sensational video. We have to look at these things, accept that it could be a possibility, and then wait for our own verification. I think that's the only way really to think about things.
Well, if you're doing it right, I think. I agree with you there. Quick shout out. We got Tour Zacatecas, Mexico. What's happening, man? That's on YouTube. I think that's an advert. Are you an advertisement? You got a deal for us? Okay, anyway, here we go. We're going to play this video and action.
My father always warned me. He said, Peter, if you show the Bigfoot head, it's going to cause problems in your life, and it has. And he also warned me that if the government knows about it, they're going to come and get it. They're going to take it away. that there's going to be a huge government cover-up because they don't want people to know the truth about Bigfoot. And I'm going to say this, I want to be perfectly clear that most of the people that have been giving me shit are Sasquatch and Bigfoot researchers that are jealous. You're a bunch of wannabes. I have proof here, and it pisses you off. And I understand this, but really, get a life. This is what you wanted. You wanted proof of Bigfoot. I have it. I have it. Now, a couple things about the Bigfoot is its size, and it's very big. It is. It's big, and in relationship to its feet aren't any bigger than like human feet are to a human. Do you understand? They're not like clown feet, okay?
Okay,
but
you
they're
can
big
pause that.
compared.
Clown feet. It's not like clown shoes. Come on, guys. This is different. This is totally different. Okay.
But I think you get the idea. Is this guy, he has a Bigfoot corpse. It's in the freezer. He is claiming, now this guy is completely sensationally his run-ins with dogmen and aliens and all sorts of different things. But this guy's claiming he has this Bigfoot corpse in the freezer, and you see the head in front of you. It looks fairly impressive, to my take at least. How do we know this is true or not? How do we know this is false or not? It's just sensational. Sensational, so therefore it's false. It's hard to understand anymore. And I'm kind of lost. I really am lost. It's easy to say, oh, he's just making it up. It's paper mache and he's frozen it, and that's where the ice is coming from, and so on and so forth. How do you really know?
Well, I think in many cases you have to trust your eyes. You have to trust your instincts, and you have to, if you walk through the world and you see, everything's blue, and then suddenly something's red, and like that's you should kind of give it extra scrutiny, don't you think? Something like that. I mean, that's a very basic example, but you see what I'm saying. If you've never seen a Bigfoot in your life, and then here this guy's got one, he's got the head of a Bigfoot, he says, shouldn't you be really, really skeptical? Right? But not just of this, maybe of the blue. I don't know. Of all the blue that you see all the time. I have no idea. I don't know. This looks fake to me, just for first casual glance. But again, how would you know without actually being there? If the thing's deceased and he's had it frozen for who knows? It's been in the freezer for what? Months, weeks, days? I have no idea. Like
years upon years.
Okay, so there's details here that are need to be filled in for me to be a believer, to be an easy believer. And so, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure this guy has it at this point. I did see there's another video, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this believable? Do you think this guy's full of it? He does have haters. You see how he immediately addressed the haters? How sweet is that? He's like, all you haters out there, you're jealous. You're jealous. That's good stuff right there. But yeah, what do you think? Is this fake? Do you think we should be cautious of these things? Not just these things, Fox News, CNN, among others. What kind of things should we be cautious of? And is this one of them? Is this guy a clown? Should we take this at face value, or is he some sort of snake oil salesman, charlatan? Do you know if he's selling any kind of Bigfoot sweat or anything, Frank? Do we have like a store?
No, not yet. No Bigfoot bathwater, not quite yet.
Okay.
But something you said there interested me, is that the details. He's got to fill in the details. Well, again, that Aziz Ansari guy filled in the details. He talked about the different news articles that published the story. He said some people thinks it looks like this, some people don't. He mentioned that, one of them may have photoshopped the image. He provided plenty of details, reasonable details we would all expect to hear in this day and age of scrutiny. Oh, they photoshopped it. Oh, they didn't. They accidentally published the wrong image, and so on and so forth. And I think it was those details that led any of us that saw that clip to accept that there really was a pizza swastika. Right? So you mentioned these details. What does it matter if he has more details? What does it matter if he has less details? They don't help anything. They really don't. Think about that. They don't help anything. He could give you a whole history about how his dad shot the Bigfoot, and he does on his YouTube channel. He gives you a whole big history. What does it matter?
Well, the details do matter, though. I mean, don't you think that stuff matters? So Kurt adds, a head that big would be on a 20-foot tall body. Right? Yeah, right. Maybe even bigger, 25 feet. Like that is a big ass head. So those details kind of do matter, right? I mean, not that, I don't know. Like, so is it clickbait world? Is it that dystopia we're talking about, or is this the real world, right? And it seems like the more you go on the internet and look for things, the more this is the type of stuff you find, right? everywhere. And no matter where you go, it's absurd. It's insane. I don't know. Like, this could be real, and I could be the dumbass, right? Like, that's the whole point here. It's like, what the hell's going on? I got somebody says on YouTube that everybody's getting kicked off of Facebook left and right. So there you go. Maybe they found us, guys. maybe this is the beginning of the end. But yeah, I am also having trouble with Facebook. So if you guys are having any problems on Facebook, and Facebook, don't take this as anything. We're not trying to be subversive or illegal or assholes or anything. Fix your shit. But if anybody wants to, jump over to YouTube. The link is on troubleminds.org. You can find the link right on top. It says listen live, I believe, and click that, and it'll take you straight to YouTube. So there you go. If you're having problems on Facebook, there are other ways to watch this as we go. Okay, so all right, we're going to play a little more of this, Frank?
No, that's enough for that clip. So we've seen that he has this head, and he does various other clips on his channel. What additional proof do we need to believe this guy? Do we need to go and see this ourselves? Do we need to take a sample and have it tested for DNA? What do we need to do?
I would think a DNA sample would be in order. I think, some sort of a chop off part of it and send it to a lab, or walk it down there yourself, with guards and machine guns or whatever. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
So he claims he's done that, though. He claims he sent it, and he claims he's got the results back as anomalous and not a species seen before, and so on and so forth. So what do we have to do? Do we have to take that ourselves? Is that the only way we believe it?
Yeah, I would think so. And this is terrible, right? Because I was talking about like let's say like Frank has said in the past. Let's say you go to his school and you have a marksmanship event, right? I think that's the term Frank used. And so, what does it take you to believe that it's real, right? If you don't trust the mainstream media and they tell you some massacre happened somewhere, and you don't believe it, then what level of proof do you need? Does somebody need to die right next to you in a massacre situation for you to believe that it happened? I don't know. Again, it is a scary world because all the information is it's angle shooting. It's people trying to make you believe things and spin things and leave facts out and twist this and twist that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I would have to have you can't even like trust like a documentary situation where you have cameras follow this guy down and they go to the lab, and because they do that crap on the History Channel, and a lot of it is also not, let's say it's not fake, but they definitely they leave out details to tell you a narrative, right? To tell you a good story. So I don't know. I'm not even sure I would believe that, in that instance. But I get, call me a skeptical asshole or a tinfoil hatter or somewhere in between. I don't know. But I don't know. I agree with you. Like, maybe I would have to do it myself. Maybe I would have to, take it to the lab my damn self, or be there with them with the camera crew when they went or something, I don't know. That's a good point, man.
And again, how do you know that the people running the lab aren't faking this entire thing? How do you know that the sample you got wasn't tampered with? There's so many steps in that chain. This guy passes you a piece of meat and you take it to the lab. The piece of meat could be made up. The lab could be making the results. All the steps in between could be false. So even in that situation, you have no idea. So I guess what I'm saying is that I'm having an existentialist crisis on what's real and what isn't. Let's play this next clip, Side Effects from Bigfoot Meat. So this guy actually takes some of the meat from the Bigfoot, cooks it up and eats it, and then he has some side effects. So let's play that and see what you think about it.
All right. So he actually consumed Bigfoot meat. All right, I'm going to link this if you guys want to check out the video yourself, but otherwise, here we go. Action.
1,125. I think some of you know by now that I am the only person to have ever eaten Bigfoot flesh. Here's a clip of me eating it. I'm sort of feeling a little ill. I gotta step back from this. This is, what the fuck? I can't be real close to it because it's putting off like this sort of like gassiness to it, like not unlike if you were mixing bleach with ammonia. Now, so I ate it, but it really did, when it was cooking, it put off a very pungent odor, and it made me feel ill, and after I ate it, I got violently ill. I did. That's me getting sick. Hear me retching? I was puking my fucking brains out. My nose filled up with like snot. I couldn't barely breathe. It was horrible. But with that said, 1,126, 1,127, 1,128, 1,129.
Okay.
I think we get the idea is he's consumed this Bigfoot meat and he somehow absorbed their endurance. He can do thousands of push-ups and thousands of sit-ups, and he can just go forever. He's a Bigfoot man now too, because he's consumed this meat. So again, plenty of details, plenty of information. He got sick. He described the smell of this thing. He described the after effects. But we can't believe that, right?
No. There's too much. There's too much of this. What's Steven? What's up on YouTube? Says, what would they compare the DNA to? That's a good question. And then Elizabeth adds, this guy's all in for the clicks. Doesn't seem legit. So there we go. Yeah, I don't know. If you've got another Bigfoot sample that we can compare this to, guys, we'd love to look. But yeah, I don't know.
Let me jump in there real quick. He says it's all for the clicks. Well, guess what? Every news organization out there nowadays is all for the clicks, right? They're posting sensationalist clickbait like racist stories and all this white supremacy stuff, all this school shooting hysteria. They're posting this left and right. They're all in for the clicks too. So if we can't believe this guy because he's in for the clicks, how can we believe CNN? How can we believe Fox News?
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. And the crap they run is because people keep watching it. So that watch for that pizza swastika story. It'll end up on CNN, I promise you. They're waiting for that. They're dying for that. They're salivating for that. That's what they do. They literally are trying to seek out that type of information to go boldly where no pizza has gone before. But yeah, here we are instead talking about this on Sunday night. Tour Zacatecas, Mexico says, why not invite him to your show? Hey, why not? Let's invite him to the show. I will reach out to this individual, see if he'll be on the show. Okay, so what do you think about this, about the Bigfoots there, Frank? What is this? What's going on here? Explain this to me.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Again, you've caught me in a bit of a crisis. I'm having a crisis of faith. Ooh, I hear an echo there. What's going on? Don't know if you can get rid of that because it's going to drive me crazy.
All right, is it fixed? You should be fine. Everybody chill.
Let's test. No, it's even worse.
How the hell do we get worse? How does shit change when nothing changes? Can somebody explain that to me? I think I've been infiltrated. All right, so
it's the Chi-Coms.
There's something.
The Russian Asians.
Those fucking Russians. All right. Oh wait, I think that'll get us banned off Facebook, won't it? Yeah, I think that got somebody else banned. Okay. So anyway, I don't know. Want to reset your Discord real quick, Frank, or something? Or
let me do a test.
All right. Test.
Yeah, I can. Okay, I'll disconnect and reconnect and see if that helps.
All right. I just fixed my thing, and anyway. All right. So, what do you guys think about this Bigfoot? About the whole conversation so far? Is this the world we live in? Has it turned into such a crazy place that what we're looking at becomes normal? And is everything a cover up, right? So if you take it, to the next step, let's say this guy's phony, right? Whatever, he gets exposed. Let's say he's not, and for some reason there's a cover up, right? That would be the next logical, right? Conspiratorial thing would be, as the park rangers show up and they take this individual and they exterminate the remains of this thing, or they take it and hide it and do what they want with it, whatever. But it never reaches the mainstream after this. Not that this is really the mainstream, but you get my point. I don't know. So what do you think? Like, is this something we should look forward to, or is this something we should be afraid of? So give us a call, 702-957-1037. Phone number is live. You can get on Discord as well. Go to troubleminds.org, click the Discord link in the top right. I believe, I believe that's still working. And yeah, Yeah, Stephen adds that seeing or smelling is believing. And okay, there's that. That's true. You gotta actually you gotta you gotta actually like touching it, smelling it, like right? Is this thing smelling like it's decaying? Who knows? It's frozen. I have no idea. I have no idea. But what do you guys think? Hey, there's Frank.
Test
What's up,
there.
Frank?
Testing.
How you doing, buddy?
Seems to come and go. Anyway, so this guy has plenty of other details on his channel. Let's take another quick look at a couple of his videos. Again, this guy's incredibly interesting. Who knows if he's real? Who knows if he's false? I put in the main folder there a couple more. Let's play the Bigfoot penis unveiling. It's not graphic. It doesn't really look like what you think it does. So let's play that couple minutes, maybe a minute only before we get kicked off. But this is exactly what you would expect, right? It's nice to show a cast of the footprint. It's nice to show the head and the legs and all this, but he's showing intimate anatomical details. So let's look at this for about 30 seconds.
Of course he is. Because how else do you get clicks, right? All right, here we go. We're going to play this, and I'm linking it if you guys want to check it out yourself. But, shit, action.
The girth of the penis. See the head? The urethra? See the urethra there? Now, it's affecting my electricity. It's pretty heavy. Weighs about, let me put it down for a little bit. Probably weighs, I have not weighed it, but it seems to be like the same weight as like a real small ham, you know? It seems like it's over 10 pounds. Now, what I was thinking was that...
Take this disgusting content off the screen now, but you get the idea. So again, he's providing more details than you would even think to ask for. I think you'll agree with that. You never even thought to say, hey, why don't you show us his ding dong? I guarantee you didn't think for that, right? But he's giving us plenty of details. And still, we do not believe him. And still, we think he's a crackpot. And still, we think he's an insane person. So what's the point? What's the point in anything? What's the point in looking at UFO videos? What's the point in reading through Project Blue Book? What's the point in anything? Because this is fake. CNN's fake. Everything's fake.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think that... I just... This guy's got a huge following, too. I think that's the funny part, right? So it does strike me as strange that he wouldn't weigh it, right? If you're, if you're literally gonna go to the trouble to maybe chop off the Bigfoot's genitalia, maybe you'd measure it and weigh it, right? So it wouldn't be like, wow, look how big this is. You could say this is, 22 inches long, or you could say, it actually weighs 9.6 pounds instead of whatever he just said, So I don't know. It seems.
We're not going to watch the entire clip, but he does do those things.
Okay, he actually does do those things. Yeah, and Tamron says he's touching its junk. Yes, that's exact. That's what he claims he's doing. So there we go. Oh, yeah. And Stephanie says, "Mother of God, I'll never eat ham again."
I don't know though. I've seen more sensational stuff coming out of CNN. All this, the Steele dossier, for example, and this story that Trump hired a bunch of ladies the night to urinate on a certain bed that a certain president stayed in. All this crazy stuff you'll see, but we believe it from CNN. We don't believe it from Peter Kane dog training, right? Why? I don't know. Ultimately, I think this is how you have to take this. Everything, the news included, is an entertainment product. It's not meant to inform you. It's not meant to help you. It's not meant to give you a better foundation or understanding the world. It's an entertainment product. And we can talk about it. We can look at the details, but ultimately, we really can't know anything unless we see it for ourselves.
Yes, especially in this post-truth era. So even now, if you're a real journalist and you actually try and expose these things, like the corruption and these other things that are happening, the Epstein stuff before it all came to a head here, the journalist is the criminal now. If you try and tell the truth, you're the criminal, right? You're the criminal and the terrorist of the internet. And this is where we are. This is frightening because the longer you give this, right, the worse this is going to get. The more sensational clickbait news is going to become, and maybe are. Have you seen that movie Idiocracy, Frank? The guy who made Beavis and Butthead, what's his name? Judge, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a great movie, great example of how things are coming, that we just kind of lose our way and we become stupid completely. There's no selection pressure anymore, is there? There's no, you know, even if you can't grow any food, can't hunt any food, can't get a job, you can still survive. Go to a homeless shelter, go down to San Diego where the weather's nice all day long, sleep in the parks. There's no reason to do anything almost anymore, because wild animals aren't going to come over the hills. The tribesmen aren't going to ambush you as you're fishing in the river. There's nothing anymore. And so I think we're devolving almost. And that's a great point. That movie, that's what happened there.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're headed. To be honest, it's it's depressing. If you guys haven't seen it, they send this guy to the future. He's average in every way, and because he's average in the past, he's like a super genius in the future because none of them can even really do any discerning the difference between anything. It's all just a big jumble of BS, and they wonder why their crops are dying because they're watering them with Gatorade and all this other business. It's stupid. And they have Gatorade in the toilet, right? No, water's in the toilet. That's the only thing they use water for, in the toilet. Anyway, it's a funny movie. You haven't seen it. Idiocracy, and yeah, so no common sense. And the more this type of stuff comes out, the less people, I think, have common sense. Because you should be able to look at this, I think, and make a determination. This is fake, Frank. This is fake, right? This is fake. This guy's like an entertainment guy, and this is fake. So, but you're right. Like, the question is, like, what level of proof do you need to consider this fake? I get it, but come on, this is fake.
No, you say it too authoritatively. You say this is fake. This is fake. I don't think we can think that way anymore. I think you have to instead say there is a 1% chance this is true. 1% chance he's telling the truth, and his dad really did shoot a Bigfoot and freeze it in the freezer, and he's really doing 1,000 push-ups after he eats some of the flesh. And 99% chance it's false. I think you always have to retain that, that outlier, that this could be true. And the same thing with news. If you pull open, what's a good news source? I don't even know anymore. Well, let's say the BBC.
They don't exist.
Although I don't agree with that. Let's say the BBC reports on a story. I think always in the back of your mind, you have to say a 1% chance that they're twisting the facts, a 1% chance they're lying outright, and a 98% chance that this is true. Right? That's the only way to think about things anymore, is you always have to have that seed of doubt in your mind, because if you just say this is false, we saw those dumbasses in the audience in the very first clip saying, "Oh yeah, I read about that story." You can't ever go all in. Not today.
No, definitely not. And I think this is an example why, though, because I don't know. Like, I almost want to say that the internet has caused this, right? Like the ability for everybody to just go, "Hey, let's make some bullshit and put it up," has caused this. I mean, people say that about us, right? Like, we got haters too. So whatever, right? Like, they're like, "Oh, these guys are knuckleheads," and whatever. Who cares, right? That's the thing. Like, this is a conversation that I think needs to be had, and that's it. But I mean, it's funny how he started out with the haters, right? He's like, funny. But yeah, no, this is fake, Frank. Let me tell you, Frank, let me tell you authoritatively, Franklin, this individual and his Bigfoot corpse is fake. All right, there you go. Just so we're clear. Is that authoritatively enough, or do I need to have like a British accent or something like that?
I don't know. Let's play this next clip, Frogman Examined, and then we'll move on to something else. Again, let's just take a look at this. And let's take it with a grain of salt, or what's the opposite of that? Let's take it with a grain of sugar too, because it could be true.
Okay, I'm finding it. Frogman here. Let's see. Frogman. Is this a new link or something here? The YouTube video?
Man folder.
Thank you. All right, let's pull this out and let's see what's going on. Wait, what the hell is that? Frank. Okay. All right, we're doing this. I'm going to link this in case you guys want to check it out on a full screen yourself. But
So the backstory here, if you're just listening, is that his dad captured and killed a Bigfoot in, I think it was the 1940s, kept it in the freezer and passed it on to Peter Kane, the dog trainer. But in around about 1953, he also killed a frogman, and that's been stored in the freezer as well. So this guy's got his own menagerie going on. Anyway, let's watch this and let's give it a minute.
okay, so this is Frogman Unknown Species, right? That's what we're watching. Am I correct? Frogman.
Yep.
All right, and action.
Frogman and see what is in, you know, its cranium. If you look at the size of the cranium, it's actually very large. I don't know if you can tell, but the size of the cranium is gigantic. It's a huge head. I can only imagine, you know, what we're going to see inside this creature's head. I'm assuming it's a large brain. I'll be very surprised if that's not what we find. So I'm going to take this micro
Okay, you can
camera
pause that now.
and gently put it up the...
Paused. All right. Yeah, this is the Frogman. Frogman examined unknown species found in 1953. This is shockingly the same dude, isn't it? Man, he's got all the luck. This is unbelievable.
But again, are you telling me that in the history of the world, there wasn't someone, let's say an English explorer, going over to Africa in the 1500s, and he killed a mountain lion, some kind of African lion. People didn't believe those existed back then. And he killed a mountain gorilla. People didn't believe those existed either. And he took these things, he stashed them, he took them overseas in a big chest of ice and salt, and he brought them to England and kept them frozen, and he showed his friends, he showed his family. And you're telling me that everyone believed him?
No. No, I don't follow that at all. Frank, are you okay tonight? Okay.
No, I'm not. Again, that clip, if you just tuned in, the story we ran at the start of the show, pardon me, really affected me. Now, you can skip to 1540, play it for a minute, and we'll see the conclusion of this.
Okay, 1540. I did link it if you guys want to check it out full screen for yourself. It will be linked in the show notes again after the show, which will be on YouTube in the description box below the video. So there you go. If you want to, any of the links we talk about will always be there. So if you want to go back and check this stuff out and read it all for yourself and see that we're completely full of shit or not is up to you. But they will be there. So this link will be there as well. And here we go. Action.
We're going to find out...
Pardon me, pause that for a second.
Up?
So what he's doing is he's putting the endoscope, which is like a camera on a little swivel. He's trying to put it into this thing and see what's inside. That's the context.
Okay, and here we go.
With this creature, hang on. I can't see anything that would be stopping the camera from going up there. Can't see anything at all. It is sort of like a little world. What? Oh my God, I got it in my fucking mouth! Help me, it sprayed something in my mouth! Somebody help me! Oh my God, I got it in my mouth! I know what this is! I know what this smells like! Oh my God! Please help me! Gates, where are you going? Bill Nye, you're the science guy, help me get clean! No, not Elon! Come on, man, we'll pull a bullet after this. Help me get clean!
Okay, you can stop that now.
Holy shit.
So,
Frank.
Ultimately, if you look into the details, if you look through his stories about he was molested by Bigfoot, he's got all sorts of paranormal creatures running around. Ultimately, you can say it's fake. Like, come on, I'm just playing along here for the sake of believability. But really, though, maybe there's a 0.0000001% chance it's true. There's still that possibility out there. It could be so minuscule. A random decay of some uranium atom could happen sooner than this, right? But there's a small possibility it's true. Obviously, I think it's fake. Obviously, if I had to take $100 out of my wallet and bet something, I'd say, yeah, this is fake. I don't know, though. So again, maybe the details do help, but yeah, there's Peter Kane, the dog trainer. It's incredibly entertaining. You should check it out. It's a fun channel.
and we'll try and get him on the show. We've tried to get lots of people on the show, by the way, and they don't like it, right? They don't like having to answer questions if they don't edit themselves and they don't script themselves and they don't, get crap in their mouth themselves or whatever the hell that guy just did. It's yeah. There you go. No, I guess this is the funny part, right? So I guess in this day and age, us two knuckleheads are like the hard-hitting journalists. This is how it's going on for. I don't even know. Like you ask these people, and they just don't. Nobody wants to go outside of their medium because, of course, if they do, they have to answer questions that it's not their narrative, right? They have to maybe. Well, where did you find this? How long have you had this? Where did you kill it? Did it attack you? Tell us the story. On and on and on. And so sometimes these things are not not meant to be known for various reasons. But okay. All right. So there it is. That was what's his name? Dog trainer or something or other. Let's see.
Peter Kane, the dog trainer. Yeah, he has a good kind of gimmick going on. About half of his videos are training dogs, like real, actual training of dogs. And then the other half, it's a complete walk on the wild side. So it's interesting to see that juxtaposition between something that's real and something that's patently false. I don't know. I thought that was an interesting thing to look at. The more you look into it, the more you realize it is, in all probability, probably fake. But there is that small chance. It's real. And ultimately, we can never really be sure. I guess that's what I'm saying. We can never be 100% sure. No matter how sensational it is, no matter how crazy it is, we can never be sure. Because you have to remember that at one time, people thought the sun orbited the Earth. At one time, they thought this mythical land of Africa didn't exist. There's all sorts of stories out there about assumptions we've made as a species that have turned out to be completely false.
For sure. And that's just on this planet, right? We haven't even looked at the other planets yet. We can't even verify life or no life on the moon or Mars or anything else. So, okay. I'm with you, though. Imagine when we start making Mars videos. They're like, look, I found this little Mars whatever, right? Like putting this shit on Instagram. And it's like they release some hamster. They painted it purple and, it squirmed under a rock and they've videotaped it, right? Like, this is the type of shit we're going to be dealing with in the next, couple hundred years. Anyway, okay, so Philip says, no joke, though, the dude is one hell of a dog trainer. He's hella good. Okay, yeah, I've never heard of him. This is all new to me, so, yeah. All right, okay. All right, so, all right, what do you guys think? Again, this is kind of always a conversation that it should make you think, right? Obviously, you can look at it and go, roll your eyes, this is fake, but kind of what Frank's saying here is that how far does this have to stretch from where he's at to the point where you start believing it? And then on the other side, the authoritative sources, how far do they have to stretch? Kind of in the sense that how ridiculous do they have to get before you stop believing it? When it's all the same thing, really. It really is all the same. Okay, so all right, let's keep on trucking, Frank. What's next?
Okay, let's take a step away from the paranormal. I don't think we have anything else paranormal related, but let's talk about the world at large. Let's talk about propaganda, and let's keep on this theme of believability. Because, okay, let's just get into it. Open up the Amazon rainforest is on fire. What we know and how you can help. Let's open up that and take a look at it.
Okay, checking it out here. And this is on CNET. I'm linking this again if you guys want to check it out. Here we go. All right, so I did hear this, that the Amazon is on fire. And it's, from what I've heard, just skimming headlines on this particular topic, is that it's not natural. It's people are burning this for some reason, is what I gather. But that's, again, right, that's scanning headlines of the mainstream media. So I don't know if that's the case. I don't know. Right now, as far as this is concerned, I have no idea.
Yeah, so that's about how the story goes in the official narrative. So let's get some details here. The Amazon rainforest is burning at a record rate, the highest on record since 2013, and an 83% increase from last year. And so these fires are out of control. There's more than 73,000 of them in Brazil. Now, what caused this? They say that there's a dry season, and that's what caused it. That's the official narrative. The unofficial narrative is that the local people in the area, they won a lawsuit against an oil company to kind of preserve the area for themselves, kind of keep their native homeland intact. And in retribution to that fact, The oil companies came in and they burned this place down, kind of burned them out of there. And, this is causing a big hullabaloo. There's people saying, oh, the world's going to die. The climate change is going to go out of control. The Amazon is the biggest carbon sink on the planet. If we lose this, we lose everything. So they say here, the area's rainforest generates more than 20% of the world's oxygen and is home to more than 10% of the world's known biodiversity. The Amazon is referred to as the lungs of the planet. So we take this down, we let this burn, we're all in a hell of a lot of trouble. So what do you think so far? What do you think about let me pose you a couple of questions. Let's say that this Amazon rainforest really is the only thing preserving the world. It's the only thing preventing rampant climate change, out of control CO2, and rising temperatures. Do you think it's fair to the world, and this is my own personal spin on the story, do you think it's fair to the world that we should allow this forest to remain in the hands of these people?
Wait, what? They live there, right? So does that mean they own it?
They live there. They assumedly own it. Brazil, it's in Brazil and Venezuela, all that area. They're not having the best time of things if you've been following the news. Do you think, and again, this is how the story goes. This is the last gap. If we lose the rainforest, we lose everything. Climate will scale out of control. The oceans will boil. Everything will die. If we lose the rainforest, we lose everything. How can we, trying to protect the world, allow the Amazon rainforest to remain in the hands of these people who clearly can't control it, clearly can't manage it?
Or are you suggesting that the world should annex Mexico? Or I'm sorry, not Mexico, Brazil? Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I don't know. What do you think?
No, this is exactly the type of conversation that's like, it's the same thing with China, right? So if you want to take the same thing to China, and okay, so they're actually trying to create a global new world order, basically. That's what they're doing. And so with surveillance states and a less emphasis on human rights and the rest of this, it's the same sort of thing. So should China be allowed to take 2 to 3 or 4 steps forward and start squishing freedom in other places that's more free than themselves? I mean, look at Hong Kong, for example. We'll probably get to that, but yeah, it's the same example. I don't know. So there's obviously criminals down here, or people that are what would they be? They would be either they're stupid and negligent, or they're criminal, right, and negligent. It's the same thing, and different ways, but the same thing. And here they are burning it down. I don't know. Should they be allowed? They can't manage it. Like, where's the military, right? Why aren't they putting this out? Why aren't they stopping people from doing this? I don't know. I have no idea. But that's a good question. You're sick, Frank.
Well, no, I want to hear your opinion on this. I want to press this issue. This is, according to all these official sources, all this research, the last thing keeping the planet alive, this huge rainforest in South America. If they can't control it, it should be taken away from them. If they don't have the infrastructure in place to put out these fires, they should be replaced. This affects all of us. This affects every single one of us. And now someone asked here in the chat how the fire started. Well, there's 2 stories. One, it was natural. 2 is they're burning it down to clear land for cattle and clear land for these oil companies. But again, why should we let them have it? Why should we let these people control something they clearly can't control?
You're starting to sound like Darth Vader, Frank. But yeah, I don't know. That's a hell of a question. I think I don't know. I'm not so authoritarian where I think that we should annex Brazil, if that's what you're saying. But if you do allow them to do this, and they just burn this thing down in huge chunks, then what? I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is like the environmentalist paradise right here, right? This is, if you want to get eaten by a giant snake, this is where you go. There's no 7-Eleven to get you a burrito in the middle of the night. There's none of that stuff here. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is again, it's the same thing. It's like on a global scale, there's these huge resources that are just being wasted. And what do you do? I don't know. What do you suggest we do, Frank? I don't think we should maybe start wars, but I'm not sure if diplomacy has its merits as well either in this type of thing. I don't know. I don't know. So a couple comments here, a couple good stuff. Kurt adds, "What's up, Kurt?" on Facebook says the Brazilian president is supposedly burning it all down because the tribes won land rights. So there you go. Tamron says the government in South America is starting the fires to promote business infiltration. Okay, so there we go. There's a couple takes on the same thing, right? So again, right, different stories. Like who's hearing what based on what media sources. How would you really know? I think that's kind of what we're getting at here. But what do you think, Frank? Should we annex Brazil?
Well, let's play this next clip, the Sunrise Movement on Twitter. This is the story from the local indigenous people, and you'll see her costume there in a second, talking about this thing, talking about how the government is coming in and burning down their reservation and how they want the media to see this. So the Sunrise Movement on Twitter, let's play that clip and let's get it from the local perspective.
Okay, so the people that actually live in the area that's being burned down, which would be, of course, as you would think, probably indigenous types. So here we go. Here's a link to this. You guys want to check it out? And action.
Olha o que eles fizeram com a nossa reserva. 2 anos que a gente estava lutando para preservar isso aqui e agora vem os baderneiros e pica fogo na nossa aldeia. Se não bastasse a Vale, matar nosso rio,
obviously
matar
this is Portuguese, so I will,
ponto de vida. Agora vieram e puseram fogo na nossa reserva. Nós não vamos nos calar. Amanhã nós vamos fechar a pista e queremos...
Again, I don't speak Portuguese, but according to the Sunrise Movement, she's saying for 2 years we fought to preserve our reservation and these assholes came and burned it down. They're killing our rivers, our sources of life, and now they have set our reserve on fire. Tomorrow we are closing the roads, and I want all the media here to see this. So that's what they said. She said. If anybody speaks Portuguese and can confirm or deny that, that's a good source. And let us know. 702-957-1037. Phone number's up. And you can, let us know. I'm going to play that one more time so you can actually see the video here. But yeah, that's what you heard was her. Let's play it one more time. It's very short.
Para preservar isso aqui e agora vem os baderneiros e pica fogo na nossa aldeia. Se não bastasse a Vale, matar nosso rio, matar os nossos pontos de vida, agora vieram e puseram fogo na nossa reserva. Nós não vamos nos calar. Amanhã nós vamos fechar a pista e queremos a mídia aqui para nos defender. Olha o que eles fizeram com a nossa reserva.
Okay, there it is. So she's saying that they're coming in and doing it. She's claiming that people are actually coming in and burning this shit down, right, Frank?
Yeah, now, again, let's look at this scenario. We have a woman in a feather headdress who probably hunts the land and fishes the rivers, and she's the sole person in charge of controlling this place. Her and her tribe are the sole people in charge of controlling this rainforest. They can't stop what's going on. They can't do anything. So what should we do? How should we stop this? What's the solution here?
I don't know. There is a solution here. I mean, their government has to step in and do something. And there's so much drug trafficking and corruption and human trafficking, everything. It's terrible down there. In Brazil, it's one of those places that's probably, I think, on par with Syria, violence-wise. If you don't believe me, check out the murder stats in Rio. It's absurd. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. When you have like a populace that is so bent on whatever they're doing, like whatever crime is happening down there, which is huge in huge chunks. I don't know. How do you stop that? It's beyond me, man. If I had those answers, I'd be what? I'd be something. I wouldn't be doing this. That's for sure. You got answers?
Let's look at it this way, though. These people, they're the ones in control of this whole thing. They're the ones who control the rainforest. They're the ones who are in charge, but they're ineffective at their jobs. They can't do it. These people in their little feather headdresses, crying and whining to Twitter, they can't do anything. So let's put it to you like this. Let's have a hypothetical scenario. Let's say you have 50% of the world's population that controls a resource, and they're destroying that resource. Let's say it's the algae in the oceans. Let's say China as a whole is killing all the algae in the oceans. And if they do so, if they complete their mission of killing all this algae, the world will end. We'll pass that climate tipping point. We'll stop. The oceans will boil. The skies will be filled with fire because China's killing all the algae in the oceans. And of course, this is a hypothetical. Do we have a right to stop them? Do we have a right to kill every single Chinese person to get them to stop? What do you think?
No, clearly, but
But the entire world will die if we don't, right? Everyone will die.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty what would you call that? That's binary straw man a little bit, don't you think? I think these things are a little more nuanced than that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think poor Frank is off his rocker tonight. I'm not so sure, man. Do you think we have the right to murder all the Chinese people and annex their land? I don't know.
I'm just asking questions. I think we do personally. If this rainforest burns down, if this rainforest is entirely gone, the world ends. That's what they're telling us. Well, but what do they want us to do?
Well, they're also telling us that the world's going to end in 12 years no matter what, like because of this climate business. So, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. Do you take them at their word? I don't know. The authorities that be, the politicians, I don't know. They're kind of full of crap. So I don't know if that's the case. Is that the actual case though, Frank? What do you think? Do you think if half of this thing burns down in the next, say 6 months, literally half of the Amazon jungle burns down, do you think the world is over? People will be dead? I don't think that's the case. Come on now.
No, this entire story is bullshit. In my opinion, I don't think this matters at all. I think these people are just trying to get attention, get donations. So let's go back to that CNET article. How can you help? They say, how can you help this rainforest? Well, you can donate to the Rainforest Action Network, which conveniently funds these people, funds these tribe members. You can donate to the Rainforest Trust to help buy land in the rainforest, which again conveniently helps these people. And essentially, how can you help? There's a bunch of different ways, and it all involves giving your attention or giving your money to these people. So I personally think they're stirring up a fuss for no reason. I think this doesn't matter at all. And I think this is a whole propaganda effort for climate change, and I don't buy it.
Okay. Okay. But it's hard to say because the type of stuff they tell us about climate change is we're dead in 12 years, right? You listen to that crazy broad from New York, she says we're dead in 12 years no matter what, right? And that keeps inching. It was 20 years and it's 8 years and 12 years and whatever. Now I saw an article a couple weeks ago that said it was now like 18 months, right? It's like these morons are just saying these ridiculous things to try and scare people into votes, right? Into voting for them and voting them into power. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't live there. Obviously, I don't know, man. I don't know. So the shit's burning though, right? But we just had California burning, and a lot of that was burning. It was, they always say, they love to say this. The media loves to say it's the greatest or the largest or the whatever it is on record, right? The most people dead or the most acres burned or the most this or the most that, right? It's like the more sensational. If they can't say that, they don't cover it. So yeah, I don't know, man. I am apt to agree with you that maybe this is a bunch of propaganda, because who knows? Who really knows? I want to know how that indigenous folk got the camera and the Twitter account. or whatever's going on there.
Yeah, and how they conveniently organize the media presence. Again, let's go back to how you can help. Donate to Amazon Watch, donate to Amazon Conservation Team, donate to One Tree Planted, sign the Greenpeace petition. Amazon Conservation accepts donations. I put a link in the main folder there. Why don't we play that? A bush clip. Those are the best.
A bush clip, all right. See, bush clip. we tried to work this one in the other day, didn't we? We didn't quite get to it. All right, let's play this. This is pretty good. If you've been watching for the entire time, you've seen this one before. But here we go. Let's see, and action.
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash. One of the things that President will do is to make sure your money is spent wisely. Haitian people have got a tough journey.
Make sure your money is spent wisely.
It's amazing how terrible tragedies can bring out the best of the human spirit. We've all seen that firsthand when American citizens responded to the tsunami or to Katrina or the earthquake in Pakistan. And President Clinton and I are going to work to tap that same spirit of giving to help our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean.
There you go. But don't send them blankets or anything they can actually use. Just send us the cash. We'll buy the blankets for you. Oh, God. Yeah, that's what it's all about.
So So again, you look at these things like the Peter Kane dog trainer. You don't believe him. You look at these things on CNET, and this poor woman in the jungle with her lovely feather headdress and the tribal outfit, and you believe her. Oh, she's having a bad time. We need to help her. We need to donate. We need to give her money. And this is, how do you know? How do you know what's the truth? How do you know this is really happening? How do you know this is a big issue? How do you know the climate problem really is the tipping point? Sorry, I'm getting a big echo again. Can you do something about that?
I can try. I think what fixed it last time was you. All right, resetting the audio. Here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Is that better? All right.
No, it's not better.
Oh, then fix your shit. It's just you then. All right. Let's see. Kelly, what's up? Says the Amazon is a big difference from California fires. Those donation places are BS, but there are real ones out there, and you have to research. Okay, yeah. So if you guys know something about this, call us. Again, this is what transparency is, right? We're talking about this, and many times from a stance of ignorance here. I don't know. Like I said, I've never been to Brazil. I don't live there clearly. So a lot of this stuff, when you take international news, you're using international news sources, and of course, when it comes to us, it's spun, right? They're going to tell us this or tell us that or whatever it is to try and get whatever they want out of us. That's just the way the news works. That's the way media works. And so, yeah, I don't know. If you guys know something I don't or we don't, then perfect. 702-957-1037. Call us. Get on the show. And or join the Discord. You can go to troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, and get in here. And yeah, and tell us what you think. Like what's actually going on with this stuff. Because it is you know, like destroying huge chunks of the earth is, you know, ecosystems and whatnot is not, it's not a good thing. I think we can all agree on that. But, you know, like what, how do we stop it? Just like Frank said. Like Frank said,
how do you know it's not a good thing?
Well,
how do you know that ultimately that won't help? That it'll be a better solution to burn that entire rainforest down? How would we ever know?
Well, the problem is once you burn it all down with that type of thinking, it takes a very long time to grow that shit back up from nothing. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Frank, you're freaking me out tonight. Okay, so how's it? We fixed?
Nope, it's even worse than it was before.
All right, perfect. Nobody hears echo but Frank. Dale says no echo on this end. It's only Frank. All right, I'm going to try and reset this one more time for you, Frank. 2 seconds, 3 seconds here. All right, try that. A couple good comments here. Robert says, the reckless burning away of the Amazon rainforest is an act of war. Forget Iran, forget Iraq. The rest of the world must join together to seize the rainforest and place it under an international protectorate. There is no room for skepticism when the risk of being wrong is global annihilation. And like I said, I agree to the effect that if it all burns down, it takes a very long time to get it back. So yes, there has to be some sort of preservation. Kurt says that it's the freaking Amazon. It will be regrown in a year. Trees will start right back up. Okay, maybe. Maybe. Go ahead and test, Frank. Test these 1, 2. Let it rip.
Yeah, that's actually a very true thing, is that it grows back extremely fast. In that area of the world, there's so much moisture, so much sunlight near the equator that these things grow exceedingly fast. And there's plenty of studies out there that, yeah, that's even worse.
Even worse. Okay. All right.
You'll be doing your show by yourself if
okay.
I have to hear myself 2 seconds delayed.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Other than I've reset everything. I can reboot the whole system if you want to. What's up? Steven says. What's Steven say? Steven says, and then they didn't believe us. The pipelines were going to poison the water. Here we go again. Talking about what is that? Is that Flint? Michigan? I don't know. I'm not sure what your reference is there. Again, call us 702-957-1037. Go to troublewines.org, click the Discord link, and get in here and tell us all about it. I don't know, Frank. Here, I could kill Discord for a minute and bring it back. What do you think? Okay, I'm gonna kill Discord. Here we go. Let's try this. Sorry, guys. Technical issues here. Technical issues. All right. Fake from real fires. Southern Californians were real. Okay. I don't know about that. I think I'm going to go with all this shit was fake. It's all fake. It's all been fake. It's all going to be fake. The world is fake. This show is fake. Yeah, I'm fake. You guys are fake. We're a computer program here. I'm restarting Discord. So I'm just talking stupidly. Okay, Frank, here's test 1 2.
Yep. Hello.
Test 1 2.
Ultimately, I don't think we can tell a difference between Peter Kane, the dog trainer. That did fix it, by the way. Thank you. Peter Kane, the dog trainer, and this Amazon story. There's an equal amount of crazy UFO, crazy Bigfoot stuff out there as there is to all this climate change propaganda shoved down our throat, left, right, and center, up, down, all over the place. It's pushed down our throat all the time so much. It's pushed down our throat more than the actual studies that exist to prove or disprove the issue. You know, people will just go on television and make stuff up and say that, oh, the climate's going to die. We're all going to die. You know, they were saying that 30 years ago. What was the prediction that Florida would be underwater? Who's the vice president who said that? I can never remember his name.
That would be Al Gore. The climate. What would you say? I don't know. The climate doomsayer in chief. That would be the guy. That's Al Gore, and yeah, I don't know. Like, this is the thing, right? If you go back and you look at those things and the things he said back when he said them, and then you look at what's actually happening today, it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, we all forget. We forget that he said that Florida would be underwater. Half of California would be literally underwater. But instead, here we are, how many years later from his big climate cash grab, and none of that has come to pass, right? And like you hear the broad from New York again say that people are going to be, or people are losing their homes because they're underwater. But I mean, that's an economic thing, lady. That is not the coast coming up and flooding people's homes. That's not what's happening here. I don't know. It's absurd. It's absurd. This whole conversation to me is crazy that we can't even actually look at this scientifically and say, okay, well, wait a minute, what's happening here? Because they don't. Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, so it's impossible to tell. I think that's ultimately the point of all this is it's impossible if that lady really is suffering or she's just soliciting donations, just trying to get more money. Because there are different opinions to this. There are different opinions that say the more CO2, the better off we'll be. And that's why I mentioned burning down the rainforest entirely. Let's just burn the entire thing down. Because there are different opinions out there, and you would have never heard about them because the media doesn't cover them, that say that increasing CO2 will actually cause more growth and the planet will be a better place for it. And again, we should do a whole show on climate change. We've got a little bit here we can cover, but that opinion is out there. Have you ever heard that opinion spread to you by CNN?
To just burn the sucker down and then deal with it afterward and see what happens? No.
No, there is no afterwards. So again, think back to the age of the dinosaurs. What do you envision when you think of the age of the dinosaurs?
Like I would imagine a place like the Amazon jungle, pretty much.
Yeah, across the entire world. So again, if you look at Antarctica, for example, big frozen wasteland right now, and Antarctica is about 14% of the entire surface area of the world, right? It's a huge continent. You look at it on a map, you think it's tiny, but Antarctica is actually a giant place. There used to be a forest there. There used to be trees there. They're finding fossilized and petrified wood there. So at one time in the world, Antarctica was a huge rainforest. But we never hear about that. We never hear a single thing about that. So again, who knows? Who knows if burning down the rainforest will help or if it won't help? Who knows if any of this is true? It's hard to tell. In fact, I'll say it's impossible to tell.
Well, until you do it, and then but then even then, it might even take, because the world is so huge, right? That it may even take hundreds of years to find out what the actual cause of that would be, right? Just because it happens tomorrow doesn't mean we get the effects tomorrow. It's a huge system, and it's just like collapsing an economy, right? Like an economy as big as the United States, you have to do tons and tons of damage to it because it's so large before you actually get a huge catastrophic effect. So I don't know. Stephanie, what's up on Facebook says, a lot of people on Reddit are saying it's an old video in a different part of Brazil that was uploaded in June. So there you go. The conspiracies are
wouldn't surprise me at all, right? They will take, I think this is a guarantee. This is actually one thing I'm almost certain about. They will take any opportunity to propagandize climate change they can, and that includes taking videos from different places and misquoting and using words. They really want to push this climate change issue. And again, I don't think you'll disagree with me. Maybe you'll disagree with me saying that climate change is good or it's bad or we should attempt to fight it or it's man-made, but they're pushing this issue down our throats so much it's almost unbelievable. And when I see that happening, I really have to doubt what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. From all the sources, definitely. Is there anything in here that we can pull up regarding that?
Well, let's actually open up this Barack and Michelle Obama buying a Martha's Vineyard mansion. Let's pull open this because isn't this interesting? This is a quick one, but you know, they talk about climate change, they talk about sea levels rising, they talk about Florida being underwater. But these two nice people just bought a mansion. You see the picture? Look how far the water is away.
Huh. That's pretty close to the coast there. For them being so concerned about climate change, doesn't it?
Yeah, again, so
shit.
you look at things like that, and for example, you look at the insurance rates of seafront properties, and they're not going up. And they're buying this house here, and the ocean's probably 250, 300 feet away. They're not worried about climate change. So you look at these things, they're not worried about the ocean rising at all because that entire property would be underwater if it did. So you look at these things and you really start to wonder, what do they know that we don't?
Yeah, exactly. And if it's 2012, or what do they say, 12 years and we're done, and yeah, they're buying seafront property. That's a good point. That's a hell of a point, Frank. Why doesn't this end up? Yeah, I think we need to get Fox News would jump on this like a maniac just because Barack's involved. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. What do they know that we don't know? And I think it's kind of the obvious. It's that they don't know. But they do know that if they tell you that terrible, catastrophic things are coming, that they can manipulate you, right, for votes or money or both, or activism or whatever it is, right? I think that's the case. I think that's the case because I'm a tinfoil hatter and I don't believe they're crap. Again, so I wonder. I'll bet you that Al Gore lives in a place like this as well. That's like very close to the ocean. I would bet you.
Oh, guaranteed.
I would bet you. Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's take a step back. We look at people like Peter King, the dog trainer, and we say his motive for faking these Bigfoot videos, his motive for faking the Frogman videos is to get clicks, is to get views, is to make a living off his YouTube channel, right? We say that. It makes sense.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, the thing is with that is that you can't go ahead and try it. If anybody out there thinks you can just snap up a YouTube channel and make a living, go try it. Right? It's not like that. But I mean, the guy's been putting in stuff. He's been going viral. He's been working on this for years, right? I'm just guessing. I don't know. But yeah, okay. But Fox News and CNN and these guys, right? We use those two examples. You know who the rest are. There's tons of them out there. But they control the airwaves, the radio. They control the television. They control everything. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, so let me jump in there before you hijack my point. Is I would argue that CNN, Fox News, they have an even more transparent motive. They have an even more transparent reason to do all these things and to push this news. And that's to control power, to get people into positions of power, to get views, to sell advertisements. So you look at a YouTube channel like that and you look at CNN, I don't see a difference, not anymore. I think they're exactly the same, with the only caveat being that CNN stands more to gain from putting out fake bullshit. They stand more to gain from all this stuff than Peter Kane, the dog trainer, ever will.
Well, yeah, because they're brainwashing us. And so that guy's getting clicks or, getting exposure and, maybe he's a vet. I don't know. I haven't watched the rest of his channel, but maybe he's getting exposure for his business or, something. Maybe he's doing something good with it. But the rest of these guys, I don't believe they are. I think they want us to buy the bullshit so they can get the donations and get the votes and put the people into power. I think you're right on that. Definitely. So it's not the same at all because it's like punching up or punching down, right? That's what it comes down to me anyway. So you have the billionaires punching down at us saying, "Hey, here's the thing. All you stupid masses of people out there that don't know anything, here we are. We're going to tell you what you should know, what you should think and when you should think it. and when something happens, how you should react to it, right? That's what they're doing to us. It's brainwashing. But this individual, like the pet guy, the Bigfoot guy, he's not doing that at all. I think, he's doing it for the lulz a little bit. He's doing it for the notoriety a little bit. And maybe he is, if he's a vet, maybe he's doing it to get, rescuing dogs or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people may laugh and say it's a stupid, that would be a stupid thing to do, right? As like improve the world. But, right, what are you doing to improve the world, right? Like, what are you doing? Like, we get haters here, but what are you doing? Like, we're here talking about it at least. What are you doing? It's the same thing, right? So it's like, are you doing something or are you not? And if that guy's doing something positive, he's punching up. He's punching against these guys that are telling us what to think and how to think, because he's using that exposure for something else. I hope. Just a guess. But there you go. That's right. You see what I'm saying? Punching down or punching up.
Yeah, you take money and you start a Wombat Rescue Foundation. You're helping the world a little bit. That's a callback to a previous show. Let's go a little bit more into this climate change stuff, because I don't know what to think. If you look for it, you will get a different opinion. Open up climate scientists to Congress. Let's play this. This is something you may have never heard before.
Okay, let's see. Something you may have never heard before, eh? That happens here once in a while. Okay, so let's see. This is I'm linking in if you guys want to check it out full screen. But here we go. Action.
There is another systematic error in the previous calculations of the SCC. We live on a planet that is becoming greener because of the direct, next image, physiological effects of increasing carbon dioxide on plant photosynthesis. A massive survey of the scientific literature by Dr. Craig Idso shows this caused a $3.2 trillion increment in agricultural output from 1961 through 2011. My colleague, Mr. Diaratna, has shown that a more realistic sensitivity and carbon dioxide fertilization can result in a negative SCC, or a net external benefit from the production of carbon dioxide. In closing, I provide you this image of the greening of our luke-warming home planet as taken by NASA satellites. Where there are dots, the changes are statistically significant. Note that the greatest increases, the ones in pink, are in the margins of the world's deserts and the tropical rainforest, places we all feared for. If you're going to factor costs, you should factor benefits, and the increment just from direct carbon dioxide fertilization for agricultural production is about $3 trillion from 1961 through 2011. But more importantly, the satellite data shows a remarkable greening of the planet Earth, and the illustration that I showed earlier is remarkably reassuring, because the massive greenings, the largest greenings, are occurring in the margins of the Great Desert, the Sahelian region in Africa that you and I were taught in school. This is desertifying and it will never come back. Right. The tropical rainforest, the lungs of the earth, have the largest increase in greening on the planet, all brought to you by carbon dioxide. So, yeah, you should factor those things in, I would think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I would think. And I think that that actually goes to that Gaia hypothesis, right? Where Earth is kind of self-regulating. And so the more, it's like an organism in itself. And the reason there's life here is because of that. There's been this reciprocation of events that when one thing kind of oversteps, there's another process that kind of brings it back in line. And in this instance, what we're talking about, what this individual is saying, is that more carbon dioxide means more green things growing on the planet, right? Which is, how is that a bad thing? Because they say plant a tree, save the world, right? So how is it? I don't know. That's the conundrum, right? That's the backwards that we're talking about here, Frank?
Yeah, again, go back to this issue he talked about. The deserts are now growing. Deserts, which were dry and barren forever, are now growing. There's plants growing there. And so you'll never hear about this on the news. You'll never hear this told to you. And I think even someone in the comments said, let's cut down the rainforest, it'll grow back in a year. It really will. And again, he said the same thing there. Remarkable growth in the Amazon rainforest as a result of increased CO2. And what do you often see after a forest fire? after the whole place burns down. Remarkable growth, because all that carbon, all that fertilizer that the fire generated stimulates growth even more so. I think they call it biochar or something like that. So when you get charcoal in the soil, it grows really well. But the point is that we just heard an opinion. I believe that opinion. I've looked into this several times. We'll have to do a whole show on climate change one day. But it's all a lie. Like, it's, this guy could be lying. CNN, Fox News, CNET, and this whole Amazon rainforest story. They're fear mongering. So it's really not a big issue whatsoever. It really isn't. If you look at it, if you look at the details, there really is, in my opinion.
Okay, and I kind of agree. Like, as far as when anybody tells you the sky's falling, you should be very wary of the messenger and not really the sky. So that's there we go. There's words of wisdom. I really don't say anything smart very much, but write that down as maybe one that was half smart. But I think that's the thing, though, is that if it is right, so we had a map previously. I don't even think we got to it and it hit the cutting room floor, but it showed that parts of the world are more green than they ever have been because of this catastrophic rise in CO2. So which is it, right? So is it that the CO2 is causing problems because of the warming, and we have to counteract this by doing the stratospheric aerosol injections? Go back and watch that episode. We did a whole one on that, where they're literally thinking about putting these things in the sky, these particulates in the sky, to block the sun, to cool the earth because it's growing more trees, right? It, like, plants and foliage is growing more and better than it ever has. None of this makes sense. It's like into the north and into the south regions where they're usually polar. No, they're becoming warmer and green. So what happens, right? It's I don't know. I'm not a climate scientist.
I put a permafrost map in here. Why don't you open up that and let's take a look at this? So in case you're not familiar, in case you don't live where it's cold, permafrost is where the ground stays frozen, right? The ground may be directly on the surface, maybe a little bit underneath, maybe far down below. It stays frozen. And when the ground stays frozen, plants don't grow, right? So you look at this map, and I did a little calculations. 24% of the Earth's surface, of the land mass on the Earth, 24%, that's a huge amount, is covered in permafrost, right? Can you believe that? So look at northern Canada there, northern Russia, Siberia, and the South Pole too. 24% of the world is too cold for plants to grow. Now remember that Harry guy that was testifying to Congress said that even though the world's warming up, even though things are getting hotter, the desert regions, deserts are hot, right? We know that. The desert regions are even starting to green. So as the world heats up, the deserts are growing, and permafrost too is melting, right? More temperature, you melt the ice, plants can grow. So imagine that. Imagine we burned down that rainforest and temperature spiked and there's a huge amount of CO2. Well, you'd assume that these areas would melt and that plants would start to grow. And eventually the CO2 concentration would shrink back down. That makes sense, doesn't it?
Right, and it's back to that. I have it up, the Gaia hypothesis. I'm going to pull this up. I pulled it up for something else unrelated, but this is exactly it, right? Like Earth has its own way of regulating these things. Like, there's not going to be some runaway greenhouse gas that just destroys the planet because there are plants here that counteract the CO2 business, right? And so this is I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. So what you're saying, Frank, and I agree with you here, is that if you take all of this permanently frozen stuff, permafrost, and you melt it, but then green stuff is growing there, then you've gained 24% versus, like, what's the rainforest itself, right? Versus the actual greenery on the earth. I don't know, but it just seems like that would grow back too. So you would have all of that plus this. And so the only actual damage would be the equator, right? Because in some places in the world where it's like, 130 degrees in the summer Fahrenheit, then it would be 133 or 135 degrees, right? Or whatever, right? It would be too damn hot to live. But so people migrate, north and south. I don't know. Or, turn on their air conditioner a little higher. I don't know.
Well, again, they say that. So that's the opinion you've been told by the media, and I understand why you think that. But what happens when you boil a pot of water? You get steam. And what happens when that steam condenses? You get a cloud, right? And that cloud goes on to rain over these very hot regions. That cloud goes on to block the sunlight entering the earth. So you think about, like, we've all had that. We're out on a day, a sunny day, and a cloud passes over and you feel the chill underneath it, right? It's blocking the sunlight from above you. And so you assume that these regions near the equator would be, oh, too hot to live. You'd be boiling, your skin would be peeling off. Again, it's a bunch of bullshit, again, in my opinion. But this is the point of all this. This is the point of this whole thing. Peter Kane, the dog trainer, and this Amazon rainforest story is, I don't think you can really look at any of these things and take away an opinion that matters. There's contradictory opinions here, there's different opinions there. I don't think you can look at any of these news stories, these Amazon rainforest stories, anything, and take away opinion that matters. It's impossible because you have different opinions all over the place, and people are clearly lying to you in certain settings. What's the point of looking at any of this stuff?
Let's step away from the cliff, Frank. Back off the edge, buddy. We're gonna make it through this. We're gonna make it through.
Again, it's an entertainment product. Is that the point? Is that guy you see on CNN, this lady in the headdress shouting in the jungle? It's all an entertainment product. And unless you're there, unless you have boots on the ground, so to speak, really look at any of these things and take away an informed conclusion from it.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, like, that's the thing, right? So you look at this stuff, and is it scientific? Is it not? Is it pseudoscience? They call us, what would they call us? They call us all kinds of derogatory things if they call us anything. But that's the point, right? Where does the information come from? What's true and what's not? That Monsanto bit earlier, I don't know. Like, who's actually controlling the information, and are they controlling the information for our best interest? I think we probably all know the answer to that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Again, this is kind of a big topic here because it's all encompassing. It is not just global warming or Bigfoot videos or whatever this is. It's about where the truth comes from and what the truth means to you. That's really what this is about. So what do you think? We do have where are we at? See, the damn Facebook keeps disconnecting. They ain't lying, man. This shit keeps dropping and then repopping. Okay, so we got a few minutes left. Yeah, 10, 15 left. So what do you think? Do you think this is worth talking about? Do you think the rainforest is propaganda, or do you think it's actually happening? What do you guys think? What have you seen? What media sources can you cite? What can you tell us we're missing? Whatever. Like, again, this is what you call transparency. Call the government, wait on hold. Call us, we'll take your call. 702-957-1037. Go to troubledminds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link. You can get on the show that way as well. And let us know what you think. What is this all about? What is this all about? Anything fun we can touch on, Frank, to end this or to round this down?
Are we ending early? It's okay. Well, whatever.
No,
I
we
got
got
a
some
fun
time.
little.
We got some time. I'm just saying.
I got a fun little link we can look at. World's carbon monoxide emissions. Carbon monoxide emissions are an indirect greenhouse gas, but let's pull open this. So we've heard about how bad the West is, how the West is destroying the entire world. Let's pull open this link and tell me what you see when you look at it.
Okay. Got a new link? Wait. Which one is this?
No, it's world's CO, carbon monoxide emission.
Oh, okay. Can do. Okay. Got it. Oh, map porn. Yeah. All right, here we go. It is up. All right. So I see that this is yeah, of course. So this is so the world's CO2. This would be carbon dioxide. Yes, CO2. Where's the two?
Carbon monoxide.
Oh, monoxide, the poisonous stuff. Okay. And so this is where it's coming from. So what do we see? Of course, China is completely covered in red. That doesn't surprise anybody. India is kind of obfuscated as well in some darkness here. What is going on in the middle of Africa right there, like the southern part of Africa? There's like a whole bunch of carbon monoxide happening there. And then, of course, in Brazil over here on the left side, that would be what? That would probably be your rainforest fires. I don't know. But funny the different parts of the world, right?
Yeah, no, this is made from a day ago, but look at this. And again, I think this really puts it to perspective. We're here. Remember that climate change agreement, the Paris climate agreement? Remember that? And Trump bailed out of that, and the world went crazy. Everyone was so upset. Oh my God, he doesn't care about the climate. He doesn't care about this. But you know the details of that agreement, or maybe you don't, but do you know anything about that Paris climate agreement?
Yeah, so it's there's supposed to be some sort of thing where the more developed countries pay into this fund, mostly the United States, and so this money gets redistributed to these other countries that they're saying, okay, here's some money so you don't have to burn some fossil fuels to catch up. You can invest this and just go straight to green energy, and then we'll all save the world together, right? So it's actually like I don't know, you would call it like worldwide socialism. You would call it like a new world order type of thing, right? Where yeah. So
It's a
it's not
wealth
really
redistribution
Yeah.
scam, the
Yeah.
entire thing. So you look at that. We're over here on the left-hand side doing okay with carbon monoxide anyway, and look over on the right-hand side. Why the fuck should, pardon my language, why the hell should we pay China to stop polluting? Why? It doesn't make any sense. They should do these things. Apparently, it's easy to make windmills. It's easy to make solar panels. Why should we pay them to stop polluting? Why should we give our money away, our tax dollars away, the money I use to feed my family? Why should I give it away to China? And so take that with the news coverage you saw about the Paris Climate Agreement. It doesn't really make any sense. They're not improving. They're not doing anything. They're not helping. They're destroying the entire world.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think right, this goes back to like I said, China. How much does the world allow them to get away with what they're getting away with? Because if you don't think, there's a lot of people that don't think China's doing anything wrong, right? They're just doing the best for them, right? Like we say, oh, America first. They're like, yeah, China first, right? I don't know though. I don't like to what extreme, right? I mean, look at this map. It does say data not entirely reliable, but we knew that about everything because nothing's entirely reliable. But yeah, I mean, we all know this.
Well, wait a minute. Do you trust that some liberal hipster on Reddit, the moderator of the subreddit, just put that thing in there and said data not reliable? How do you know? How do you know it's not reliable? He could have just put that in there because he realizes that this is making China look.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. Again, I don't know who put it up. I don't know if this has been doctored. I don't know the source. Like, that's the problem, right? It's on Reddit. And not that Reddit's the problem, but you get the point. That you can't really source these things properly without thinking that they haven't been doctored, or they might not have been, right? So, yeah. But, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, right? China and India. And the thing I don't understand is what's going on in the middle of Africa there. Like, what is that? Any idea on that one? Like, that's probably the second hottest hotspot in the whole world right there.
Can you do whatever you did to fix that? Can you do it again?
Yeah, I can do it again. Right. You're gonna be off for just a second as I kill Discord. I'll be right back. Yeah, so what's going on there? Does anybody know what's happening in the middle of Africa there? So if China's doing what they do with their factories, and the over here the Amazon's burning down, what the hell's happening in the middle of Africa that all this carbon monoxide is just popping up into the sky there? I don't know. It doesn't make sense, does it? Doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, I have no idea. Let's get Frank back. Let's get Frank back. Frank, 1 2 1 2. Frank 1 2.
There we go. Let's give it a test. Oh, much better. Thank you for doing that.
All right, you got it. So
again, I'm hearing myself 2 seconds into the past, and so it's very disconcerting to talk and listen at the same time. It really messes me up. Yeah. Anyway, there's a map. There's a little bit about climate change. Who knows what's real? Who knows what's false? I don't think we can trust anything that we can't feel with our hands, see with our own 2 eyes, smell and taste and touch. I really don't. And I think we've tricked ourselves with smartphones, with computers, with televisions to think that what we're seeing on the screen, what we're hearing, are real things. They're not real things. Unless you actually see it in first person, you can't trust that it's real. Not anymore.
No, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's really the premise of the show. I mean, you have to be able to look at things yourself and decide yourself. Kelly says, "Hey, they're doing nothing wrong, but doing what any other industrialized country did when they came up. Look what we did when we went through it." And that's true. That's true, right? And so that's part of the whole deal with the Paris climate thing. So if they're going to take the money and say, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna do green energy, right? And we're not going to pour all this poisonous shit in the air." But then they take the money and do it anyway, right? There's a problem. I think there's a huge problem with that. So, yeah. Anyway, I mean, so if the entire world is trying to go, or I say the entire world, which is funny because it's probably just us, right? We're so concerned about going green that the rest of the world is less concerned about it because they just want to come up in the industrialization of their what would you call it, their living, like their living situation, right? They want to bring it up. There's a term for that. I can't. My brain's eluding it, but yeah. And then Steven says, right, and it's a third world country, so they say. Larry says, maybe China put up global rules, Joe. We love you long time for trade. Hey, Larry, easy, buddy. Yeah, and then Kelly says they are doing major green projects more than what we are doing. I don't know, but if you look at this is the thing. If you look at the actual numbers of the poisonous shit they're spewing in the air. I mean, we send our problem recycling to China, and they handle it there because you look at the map, right? Like this is the type of thing that you're looking at. That like they're fine with this. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think it's a really large issue because think about it. If everybody on the planet goes through an industrialization like we did and like China's doing and like other huge parts of the world like Europe maybe, this is all going to be red, right? This entire map's going to be red, right, Frank? That would make sense, I would think.
I have no idea. Ultimately, who knows? Who knows if they're real? Who knows if this is false? Now, someone brought up a point you just read that we did this, so we should let them do this. So let's give you a hypothetical scenario. I know you love these. I know you love giving your opinion. Let's say you're in a tribal village somewhere and someone gets murdered. And then the tribal leader, he says, well, no, I'm making a new law. You can't murder people. And then someone else gets murdered. You see the parallels in this situation. Should that second person not be punished?
No, of course they should be. Of course they should be. But here's the problem, right? So laws are laws, and they're put in place for a reason. But it should be with the consent of the people as well. So if you're making laws that the people disagree with as a whole, then there's a problem, right? So yeah, it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as just decreeing things and then having things happen as a result. It's not. Because again, right? Otherwise you would say the 535 people that run this country, in the government anyway, that we should just whatever, shrug our shoulders and whatever, right? Because they said we should.
I see what you're saying. Anyway, the point of what I'm saying is just because we did it doesn't mean they should be allowed to do it, right? Just because we killed someone doesn't mean they should be allowed to kill someone. That may be unfair, that may be sad, but if the entire world is at stake, as they claim, now again, I don't really believe that, but if the entire world is at stake as they claim, they shouldn't be allowed to do this. And yet we're letting them do it. It doesn't make any sense to me. So who the hell knows what's going on? Is there really a shadowy cabal out there that's pulling the puppet strings, or is it all just random chaos and we're trying our best to get by?
I have no idea. Again, the information's all over the place, and the more you read about it, the more you get confused, kind of, because again, right? So all of these things that they tell you are true might not be true at all. It's somebody's best estimation, and so because somebody at Harvard or somebody at Yale or Columbia or one of these places, right, comes out of with some paper that's supposed to change the world, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. We're in a pickle, that's for sure. Because a lot of the things that are happening, like Kelly says, like it's wrong. Okay, Kelly adds, no, that's wrong. Other countries are changing. We are not, especially with the orange man in office. All right, so there you go. Orange man bad. Got it. But I mean, so if you look at that map, like as far as I'm aware, like our emissions have declined considerably, like in the last 20 years, right? It's something like that. It's not just within the last couple or whatever. Anyway, but so if you look at it and you look at the red, China just spewing poisonous gas into the air. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Save me, Frank.
Again, how do we know? I don't think we do. And it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when we're being lied to constantly, right? That's the thing, is if you're lied to once in a while, you learn to see those lies and detect them. But if everything you hear is a lie, it's hard to tell. If everything you hear is the truth as they're portraying, it's hard to tell. So I'm lost. I'm just as lost as you. I saw you put a couple of stories in here. Why don't we move on from this and you can pick one out and we'll talk about it in the final moments of the show.
Yeah, okay. The final moments, the final countdown. If anybody knows that song. All right, what do we got here? Just send your cash. No. Frogman, no. No. Frank, you brought me down, buddy. You brought me down. All right. What do we got?
Okay,
here?
I'll pick one.
All right.
I'll pick one. Let's open up ABC Hong Kong protests. They're cutting down the surveillance lamps. Hong Kong protesters cut down data collecting lampposts. Let's pull open that.
Okay. Can do. All right, let's pull this open. Okay, so this is what's going on. So I guess the issue here is how much of your liberty are you willing to give away to, I don't know, politicians, let's say, that want to tell you what to do and when to do it and how to do it, because you're trying to save the world based on their message. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It seems awfully backwards to me. But okay, here we go. This is up. I will link it if you guys want to check it out. And as always, it'll be in the link in the YouTube after when it processes. But okay.
I had a different take on this, and my take was that this is a story that is lying to you. So all across the world, they want to protect China. You know, that this is the whole thing with Taiwan. They say Taiwan's a part of China. It really isn't. And so in the news across the world, they'll report Taiwan as being a part of China. Same thing with Hong Kong. Isn't a part of China yet, but it soon will be. And that's why they're protesting. But here we go. We got a bunch of protesters in Hong Kong. They're trying to cut down these smart lampposts. That's what they refer to them through this entire thing, as smart lampposts. So you can play the video there. They basically chop one of these things down. So protesters use an electric saw to slice.
Go ahead. I muted it. They're chopping this thing down.
Protesters use an electric saw to slice through the bottom of a lamppost, while others pulled ropes tied around it. The demonstrators, who were holding up umbrellas to hide their identities, cheered as it toppled over. So again, they have these lampposts. They call them smart lampposts. Now, if you look through this article, you read some of the details. They say they were part of a larger group marching to demand the removal of the lampposts over worries they could contain high-tech cameras and facial recognition software. So let me read that again and listen to the language they use here. They were part of a larger group marching to demand the removal of lampposts over worries they could contain high-tech cameras. Do you see how that's phrased? See the kind of weaselly words they use there?
Yeah, so that implies that they're not actually surveillance devices. There's something else entirely, right? They're solar devices that are trying to get LED lights at night in a cheap way, right? It's not a surveillance device, right? These people that are pulling them down are paranoid. Yeah, they're the criminals, not the government that put them up, right?
Exactly. So if you were to read this with none of the context, you would come away thinking that a bunch of crazy protesters are worried about government conspiracies. They're pulling down these lampposts because they're fearing that there might possibly, maybe be high-tech cameras and facial recognition software. And if you look around, this is Australia. China owns half of Australia, so it's no wonder that this is ABC Net from Australia. It's no wonder they're reporting it this way. But if you look around from the news articles from the US, Canada, and Britain, they all say the same thing. They don't directly say that these things are facial recognition platforms scanning everyone around them. They don't say that. They're kind of hiding it behind weasel words. So again, this is kind of, again, going towards the theme of the show. We don't necessarily have to talk about Hong Kong and what's going on there, but they wrote this article in a way to inform your opinion, to convince you that these people, they're just paranoid, crazy lunatics destroying public property. But that's not the case at all. So let's open up this YouTube clip, Washington Post, how China is building an all-ceiling surveillance state. And let's play this entire thing.
Okay, here we go. We're linking it so you guys can check it out, and action.
China's pursuing an ambitious plan to create an omnipresent video surveillance network. The Shuiliang, or Sharp Eyes project, aims to extend and integrate video surveillance from cities into villages and from roads into residential compounds. It aims to use artificial intelligence big data and deep learning to analyze this mountain of video evidence, to work out who's doing what, where and when, to track suspects and the people they associate with, and even to predict crime. In November, I visited 3 tech companies in the cities of Beijing and Chongqing to see how China plans to make the communist slogan, "The masses have sharp eyes," into a reality. Here are a few of the ideas that the tech companies showcased. These cameras are looking at a road junction, and they're identifying everything that's passing through. They're looking at cars, reading the number plates, and they're looking at pedestrians, classifying pedestrians according to their age, their gender, what kind of clothes they're wearing, even what kind of hairstyles they have. This software analyzes crowds. It's producing a heat map of where people are massing together, the sort of thing you might use to prevent overcrowding. You can also see that it's also able to track individuals through the crowd. So if you're looking for a suspect, this is the kind of software you might want to use. Here we can see 2 cameras picking faces out of the crowd, comparing those faces to a national database of suspects, of wanted men and women. The police then look at the matches that are flagged and see whether they think that's someone they're looking for. They can then swoop in to potentially arrest or question the person that the cameras have identified. A completely different application now. This camera is trained on the face of a truck driver. It's looking at his facial expressions and what he's doing to see whether he's showing any signs of tiredness. If the score rises above a certain level, then he's seen as too tired to drive. His company will be alerted. They'll give him a call and tell him to take a rest.
You can kill that now.
The sharp eye.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. He's driving his
So
truck.
again, exactly. It's crazy how invasive everything is there, and how they say all-seeing, and that really is all-seeing. Now, let me ask you a question. We read that ABC news article where they say the protesters feared they might possibly be surveillance towers, but not really. So who do you trust more, Peter Kane, the dog trainer, or ABC News Australia, after seeing the clip?
I'm going to say D, none of the above. Am I okay with that? Is that acceptable to you, Frank?
No, again, you just won't give opinions, will you? Truck guy actually has a Bigfoot in the freezer more than ABC News. They are lying to you in plain sight, and that clip kind of proves it. And again, there's more on that, the more on the surveillance state. But you look at these things and you see that everyone's misrepresenting, everyone's changing the facts, everyone's switching things around to fit their narrative. It's impossible to tell what's real.
No, it's not that though. So it's, again, you can't like put a binary straw man in front of me and say this or that, because the world is more complicated than that. That's what I'm saying. So like, you want me to go, trust this guy instead of that guy? I don't know. I don't think I can trust either one of them, because that Bigfoot was bullshit. I'm saying that was bullshit. The guy's making like he's doing some clickbait crap. We've done it. Go back and look at our YouTube channel. We've done it. We've done some clickbait crap. Why? Because people don't listen to you unless you do that type of garbage. That's just the way the world works, okay? Admittedly, that's the way the world works. However, if you look at the mainstream media, right, like say CBS or something else, it's not the same thing at all. Because like I said, it's punching down or it's punching up. You see the difference? There's a gigantic difference there. So if you're trying to make propaganda without the power, what is it? It's conspiracy theory, right? It's what we're doing. It's not even, we're not even trying to like take over the world or anything stupid like that. Like we're trying to talk about the real crux of the issues here, as they appear to us, right? And the things that are being ignored and whatever, on and on. But if you are punching down with the billions of dollars and all of the property that you own and all of the, all of the reach and all this other stuff, it's different. It's brainwashing entirely. It's two different things, Frank. That's what I'm saying. You can't just say this or that and then be like, oh, you don't want to give your opinion. That's not fair. Come on. In that case, I don't trust either one of these people. I mean, if that guy wanted to work on my dog,
that's a good answer.
I'd probably let the guy work on my dog, because he seems like a smart dude, right? Like if he's an actual like veterinarian, sure. Like, go ahead. My dog's sick. Let's fix this. But I mean, like, really? This is Bigfoot? No, come on, man. And not only that, he happens to have a frogman in his freezer as well. Dear God, come on.
To me, it's just as believable as this ABC News article. It really is. I don't see a difference between the two. I don't. Because that guy, he's got proof. He's got the corpse in front of him. It's how do we know it's not real?
Well, you look at it. Look at it, Frank. Look at it. Look at it. Okay, got some good comments here. Got a few minutes left, guys. It is my timing was off because my Facebook timer I usually follow, it keeps dropping and restarting. So it's like saying we've been running for like 15 minutes. So that's why my timing was off. You all forgive me for that, of course. Kelly says, yeah, didn't phone apps that use facial recognition couldn't distinguish Asian people? Maybe that's why they were trying to perfect that facial facial recognition. Yeah, maybe. I mean, they need to perfect it if they want to be able to assassinate people autonomously, right? With a little drone. they definitely need to perfect it. That would be terrible news. An assassination gone wrong. They would call it a military training accident, right? Steven says a controlled population state. Yep. And then, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. But Elizabeth, what's up? Says, does it ring any bells? Like kind of like Facebook and YouTube algorithms. Yeah, it is. It is facial recognition. And this is where we're headed, right? So we talk about China, and we shit on China quite a lot, but we're headed there. If we allow it, we're headed there. And this is the problem, right? And you say, okay, well, Facebook or Google they're private industries. They're not the government. However, they're giving money to the government, right, to get preferential treatment, and then they are doing what they want to do with us, with our data, with our faces, with our whatever. In the chat, show a chat. Just say yes, I have one, or I don't. Who has a Google Home or a Alexa device, Amazon Alexa device in their house? Who out there has one? Who out there does not have one? Right? Like, these are the things. Our smartphone is part of this, but who has one? You have one, Frank?
Fuck. No, of course not. I would never put one of those in my house. Yeah, it's actually funny you mention that because I saw a story a couple of days ago where Google admitted they denied it. I think they even denied it in front of Congress, but they had to come out and admit that, yes, they are listening to your conversations. Yes, they can hear you making love to your wife. Yes, they can hear you scolding your child. Like, they admitted that in plain sight, and still no one cares. You know, all this kind of stuff, all this misinformation, it really makes you think. It really makes you think that maybe we weren't meant to live in larger than these small tribes. Maybe like a small tribe mentality, a small town mentality is the only way we can survive. Because once it gets big, once it gets out of control, it's out of control. You know, I can trust my neighbor. I can trust the guy up the street. I know the guy 2 doors down. You know, he's a bit of a wackadoodle, even more so than I am. But you look at this whole thing in the world. I don't know any of these people. I can't trust what they're saying. You know, they could. This guy wrote the ABC News Australia article could be Peter Kane, the dog trainer, in disguise, and I would have no idea. So maybe that is the solution. We got to go back to these smaller communities and form these personal bonds, and that's the only way to really understand what's going on.
Is that what you're saying, Frank? We should just burn it all down, start with the Amazon, go north and south from there, and then start this up with 10 or 12 people tribes?
Put it this way, make it conspiratorial. You understand the desire and the need for this breakaway civilization idea. And maybe there is a deep state. Maybe these people in the deep state are sick of what's going on, just like we are. And they say, hey, well, let's go to Mars. Let's keep the population under control everything, have a good time, and let's start a breakaway civilization where we don't have to deal with any of this nonsense.
Right. And of course, you make the rules. So when you do that, you are God supreme, right? You're the president and Congress and everything. So yeah, I can see that. I can see how that would be desirable, but as a result, you end up kind of burning everybody else, right? Like you're pushing everything through as much as you can to get what you want, and don't give a shit what happens to everybody else. There's a problem there, right? We end up with some
like
other
socialism
issues.
to me. I don't know if I agree with that.
No. That's not what I mean. Holy shit, Frank. All right, Frank is off the rails tonight, guys. You'll have to forgive him. I'm going to apologize for him myself. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're at the end here. Any ending thoughts, Frank, before you really trigger me and make me go, I don't know, do something ridiculous. No, I'm just kidding. Well, let's see. So I asked chat who has a Alexa device, a smart device in their home. Fred says nope. Philip says I do not. Kelly says hell no. Steven says they are listening. Yeah. And Benjamin adds, "What's up? People are disoriented of knowing the facts from the truth." And I think there you go. I think that's the crux of this. And where do you get it? Where do you get it from? Again, so if you listen to us, right, go back and listen from episode 1. And if you, let's say you've listened to every single thing that Frank and I have said, right? I think the only thing you can really say for certain is we really don't know. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about, but we're trying to find a way here. And yeah, there it is. Thanks, Kurt. He shows a good show, guys. Thanks. Okay, so any way to wind this down, Frank? Anything you want to say that would bring me up so I don't want to go, do something catastrophic tomorrow?
No, I'm having a difficult time being good about things. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a new world, isn't it? It's a new world every day, and the world's constantly changing. And I guess we just have to get used to that fact and find a way to muddle along. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd love your input. If anyone in the chat tells me how to move forward with this horrible mentality I've developed, this existential crisis with the media and information, how do you know it's true? How do you know it's false? I don't think there's a way to know. Yeah, we'll see. Just got to keep moving forward, I guess.
I guess we do. I guess that's the way of things. I guess. Yeah. All right. So would be our outro music not playing. So we're gonna have to do without it. So there you go. Larry says, "What's up?" Larry says, "We will raise hell on Guy Fawkes Day. Be the mask." Shit. Don't get us in trouble. Let's see. Yeah, but that's really what it's about, isn't it? It's there is a power struggle. There is the punching up and the punching down. It is a thing, right? It is a thing. Did you get that part, Frank? You see what I'm saying there? It depends on where the information's coming from. So I think the source matters as much as the material, and then you have to go from there. And even then, you still can't make a positive determination. It's yeah, for real. Basically, we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Holy shit! All right, so there's our outro music. Why is our outro music not playing? Does anybody hear that? I don't think it's playing. All right, so whatever. As thanks for sticking with us. We know it's a long show. We know it's a lot of things that we talk about. We know that sometimes we ramble, and sometimes none of it really makes sense. But that's kind of why we're talking about it, because it doesn't make sense. So thank you for listening. Of course, this is Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, the magnificent Frank Pierce. And yeah, this is what we do. And we'll dub some music in for you podcast followers. But there we go. As we outro this. Anything else, Frank, before we wind this down and finish? We got like 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got a Bigfoot in your freezer, let me know and we'll work something out, because I'd love to have a taste of that Bigfoot meat.
There you go. Frank will
and
be
not the big ham kind of meat, the more of the other meat.
Okay.
Because I realized that could be horribly misinterpreted, given the video we played. Yeah, I'd like to cook some up and barbecue. Yeah, let's put it that way.
There you go. Somebody was making some Frank. Will it fit in Frank's mouth jokes earlier? So there you go. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, Kurt. Thanks, Stevens. Thanks, Larry. All you guys at the end there. Appreciate it. Bigfoot dick jokes coming from us to you. All right. Thanks for listening. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you on Thursday. All right. Peace. Troubled Minds Radio. We're out.